Fiction is where the real business of life begins. Everything else, as the Dalai Lama, or perhaps it was Lee John, might have once said, is just an illusion. This story came about one day when I had the thought I could murder a cup of tea at precisely the same moment that a very handsome ginger cat appeared in the kitchen, as if he too was angling for some sort of a treat. Have a break, have a Kit Kat. That's what they used to tell us. But what do you do when Kitty's there in the flesh? What really goes on in the break? Take a moment to ponder that. Have an extended pause. No one should have to go through that. No parent should have to outlive their child. And for what? So that the police could botch their investigation, misplace key evidence, and then blame it on a conspiracy of silence. Everyone knew. The same name kept coming up in those crucial first hours after her nephew, Ravi's son, had been cut down, first by the moped, and then by what they described as a zombie blade. She remembered getting the call, how her brother's voice made a noise which was not really human. Having to identify the body, that sweet, open-hearted boy, waxy and remote on the mortuary slab. Ravi, a loose confection of clothes, held up mostly by grief. His eyes, all their eyes, tile dark and just as flat. The wearying descent into typecast nightmare. Gangs and drugs and postcode beefs. We're very sorry, but we have to ask. Following up all leads, exhausting all possible lines of inquiry. Wouldn't be doing our job properly otherwise, and we're very sorry, but we have to ask. Tangled in the weeds, cast off with the pollen, so many words spent like cartridges, like doll checks, like flesh. They didn't listen. They didn't want to know. Not the story they wanted to hear. A sweet boy, the best of this place, cut down by a vicious thug, its baleful worst. A boy who was loved and had friends and was at least 40 years too early or too late for here. Forever caught up in the echo and reverb of his beloved Lee Perry records. And yes, officer, that was the hot treacle that poured out of his belly when that wicked youth cut him down. And why aren't you writing any of this down, officer? Don't you want to know? A sweet boy, officer, with Bengali Simarip running through his veins, but big youth too, and Michael Campbell and Fabian. A conscious soul with his daddy's staunch and his mother's generosity, and a touch, just a touch, of her auburn, her red, on his beautiful, made in Lewisham face.